Shane Fernandes. Thanks for joining me, mate. It's good to see you again.
Yeah, thanks for having us, mate. It's
Yeah,
an absolute pleasure.
it's been a while, isn't it? I mean, I've been living out in Canada now for like 6, 7 years, but
It has, it
yeah,
has.
it's been a long
You
time.
joined us, you joined us at Pasha, didn't you?
Yes, I did, and a couple of other parties. I think I used to come to your parties, a few of your parties anyway. But me and my missus were talking about the Pasha one,
Yeah,
and she was like,
that was ages ago.
Yeah, she was like, "Do you remember we did the boat party or something like that?" And then you went back to Pasha straight after. And I remember we were standing outside Pasha, outside. Is it Victoria? No, is it Victoria?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Victoria.
And then me and Luke like come in, and Steve, and yeah,
Yeah, that was yeah. I remember that as well. The boat party. Yeah,
that was a
who
wicked
was
night.
that? Was that the Sam Divine boat party?
Yes, I think it might have been
Yeah, no, it was a. I remember that. That was a good night. It
because
was
there
a
was a
good night.
couple. There was Luca Pachetti, Mark Vanchuli, and then you did the after parties, didn't you?
Yeah,
Or was it your own? No, did you do after parties? Or I can't remember.
not that one. No, no.
No,
I
no.
used to do. I used to do the Pasha nights, obviously, but
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, their own nights. Yeah.
not that night. Not that night. Yeah.
No, that was good, man. I loved it because they had the glass perspex, the glass there behind the booth, and you could see out
Yeah.
onto the dark. Like it was sick.
Yeah, it was called the glass room, wasn't it?
That's
And
right. Yeah.
yeah, that was a good start. I think doing the second rooms.
Yeah, that was wicked. So let's start off with then like your music journey. Where did like your music journey begin? Like what were your inspirations and how to get into all this sort of thing?
So my musical journey. I mean, I'm from Goa, obviously, and if you don't know,
Well, I knew
uh,
anyway. Yeah, but obviously,
so yeah, from Goa. I think in Goa you come across music in everything you kind of do. To be honest,
mm,
it's from my parents and their parents and everything. It's something we always do, whether you're playing instruments or whether you're playing whether yeah, or being part of I don't know, a band or something like that. So it's always been in the family and it's always in Goa as such. But for me, obviously, I always had music in my life, and then I became a school drummer in boarding school, St. Peter's, and it's the same school actually Freddie Mercury studied in.
oh really?
Um, yeah,
That's sick.
interesting fact in there, name drop.
Get that one quiet, didn't
Yeah,
you?
yeah. So, but I was a school drummer there, and then obviously, when I went back to Goa, um, I wanted to kind of drum. Obviously, that never happened. And then one of my mates, when we were in uni, he asked, he was like, "There's this DJ competition, local DJ competition. Let's just go, let's take part, let's take part." And then, you know, took part for the first time DJing. I mean, I had loads of friends who were DJs through most, who were DJs and that and played in bands and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the first time I ever DJed and I won first place. And that was the beginning basically. And that's basically history now. But yeah, that's how it started. And then yeah, just gigs started coming in. And then there was another competition, All India, which I won first runners up. And yeah,
Sweet.
that's how it began.
I was what sort of music was it that you were playing then when you were doing that DJ competitions? It was
House. So
house, yeah.
yeah, it's Goa is known for kind of, house music. Goa is like the Ibiza of India.
Yeah, yeah.
And people come down, and back then I think all of the DJs were always kind of driving the house scene, and kind of you had tourists kind of requesting, can you play Bollywood or can you play that, but in Goa I think the DJs always stuck, no, it's only house music and that's it. So yeah, we played house music, the competitions, both competitions. I remember starting, yeah, my first ever track as a DJ was playing Mooney Dove. I
Oh
think
yeah.
there was a full extension remix,
Oh,
and it
yeah, old
went from
school.
there and finished off with Smack My Bitch Up.
That's wicked.
So yeah, that was a competition. You had 10, I know you had 10, 20 minutes or so. And yeah, but yeah, that was it.
I bet the dance floor went nuts when you played "Smack My Bitch Up" at the end.
Yeah, so there was it was Hey Boy, Hey Girl, and then Smack My Bitch Up. So it
Oh
was like,
fuck!
it was progressing. It started with Mooney and then went progressed into harder kind of stuff. And so it was Hey Boy, Hey Girl, and then Smack My Bitch Up, which was, because you're mixing all of these tracks, about five, six tracks in that time. And yeah, I think it was 10, 15 or 10, 20 minutes. But yeah,
That's
it was
fucking.
good times.
That's wicked. Like, so you kind of learnt at an early age and how to read a crowd and get it going from doing them DJ
Yeah.
mixes.
Yeah, I mean, it was about reading the crowd. Obviously, I had friends who were, like I said, were DJs
Hmm.
and friends who were in bands and stuff. So I was around that atmosphere. I saw crowds, and I was, even before being legally allowed to be in a club, I was in a club. So, that obviously helped.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so, when did you start breaking into the UK scene then? Like going
So,
into when was the start of
so
that?
yeah, I mean, I moved to the UK in I think 2005, six,
Yeah,
and yeah, and when I moved first to this place in called Swindon,
yeah. Oh,
where
Swindon
my dad,
massive. Yeah.
yeah, so where my dad lives still, but and over there, I mean it's not like Go, obviously, nightlife and everything. They have a nightlife, but I tried to kind of, try and get some stuff, get gigs or whatever. But obviously, over there, being less gigs and stuff, all DJs want to kind of look after themselves first.
Hmm.
But yeah, I moved to London. I moved to London around 2006, as far as I can remember. And then it was hard to crack into the scene. I did kind of do a few kind of shows, obviously, electronic sessions and all of that.
Yeah.
And then so actually, one of my friends who I met through work, he used to play in the West End. He used to DJ at Zubar
Oh
and
yeah.
a few other places in the West End. So, I was used to kind of going back. Actually, I did also play R&B back in the day, just to
Who didn't
rewind.
play a bit of R&B back in the day?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you
So I
know what
did
I
play
mean.
R&B because yeah, we used to start our night actually, besides the whole competition and everything. For the competition, obviously, it was house, but we used to start the night like uh, places in Goa like Cafe Mambo and stuff in Bala. Anyone who's been will know.
Hmm.
Um, and we used to start the night obviously playing R&B and then progress in the house, and that's how it went, finishing off at 5, 6 in the morning. But yeah, anyway, going back to the UK, and then one of my friends who was playing in the West End, he got me obviously gigs. We played together, and then I got some gigs, and then I had some residencies in all around, the West End and Soho, Leicester Square, all of that. And yeah, and then obviously it was full on, but I always wanted to do house.
Yeah.
And then on the side, obviously, when Summerized Sessions came about, it started off. So Sunrise Sessions was a mix CD. I used to give out like, this is my mix, basically, to kind of get gigs.
Yeah.
And then I started doing a radio show
Oh, what radio show
called
was? What radio show was that?
it was called Sunrise Sessions
Yeah.
on a online website. I think
Ah,
it was called I think Ideal Club or Radio. I think that's what they were called. I think they had a stint with data transmission as well.
I think I
Um,
remember them actually. Now you mention it. Yeah.
yeah. So I did a small stint with them, and then after that finished, I was like, okay, what can I do with Sunrise Sessions? We have to go somewhere.
Yeah.
So yeah, then I thought of doing a launch party. We did a launch party in Fulham um, on mid-September. Like, I thought, let's do it, just, bite the bullet, let's do a party. That's what I mean, I always wanted to DJ, but not never do events. But yeah, so let's do it. Call it Sunrise Sessions, the launch, and free burgers and champagne and all of that. I put money into it, and it fucking pissed down. Can I swear?
Yeah, mate. You could.
Yeah,
I mean,
and it
what you gonna say?
and it rained. Like it was meant to be a terrace party. It had a level downstairs, which was indoors. It also had a terrace where the music was, there was music and there's burgers and stuff like that.
Yep,
But it was pissing down and like nothing. It was like probably the worst day to kind of have a day party. But yeah, we had about 50 people.
that's
And yeah, that was it. That was the beginning. And then obviously Pasha came,
yeah.
and yeah, the rest is history.
How like how did you come up with the name Sunrise Sessions first of all, and how was it like trying to navigate into like getting your brand into these clubs? I know you like to say about mixed CDs and that, but like approaching them, um, and like presenting it because it's legit. It's pretty much a business. So you kind of got to give a presentation to be like, this is what I can do. Like, how did you present that, like with and come up with the brand of Sunrise Sessions to like give to these clubs and be like, I can throw this party because it's quite tough being new, like you said, breaking in the scene. So how did you like break into that?
So summarize is obviously, I've always said it's an obsession with summer, obviously.
Yeah,
Where I come from, it's sun, sea, sand. That's, where I was born and brought up. So for me, the name comes from around there. And yeah, I call it Summarize Session. And I remember saying that to someone at work, summarized. I call it summarized sessions, and it was like, wow, you should really, use that name. That sounds really cool. And then
hmm
I was like, all right, let me just block that website and everything. And I said, one day I'll do something about it. And yeah, and then yeah, of course, then after doing that party, and then you did Pasha, and then I did Egg, obviously, and then I said, all right. Then you approach the smaller clubs, obviously,
yeah,
not clubs, the bars and stuff, like the Horse and Grooms and stuff. By word of mouth, by just meeting people, approaching them, messaging their pages at that point.
yeah,
And then it just got obviously it started getting more and more, bigger and better. And then I think in London it becomes easier because then you can go and visit these people and visit the managers and kind of pitch directly and kind of show what you've done.
yeah,
And yeah, that's how it happened really. I think when you talk about then pitching, to clubs across the country, now that's bigger. So you then obviously you have a big portfolio. We've always been filming, we've always been, taking pictures and stuff. So then you build your portfolio and you build up, I have a good pitch deck now
yeah,
and got a website obviously which kind of, helps. We were running most of this stuff through Facebook, through the Facebook page without having a website. And then obviously, you're not doing it right if you don't have a website when you take it to that level.
yeah.
So yeah. Um, yeah, then the website, obviously the pitch deck, that's how, you initiate conversation. Most of the time, most of the clubs that we have approached have looked at what we've done and, want to kind of, come on board. So yeah, that's how that's how we do it
Sweet.
now.
That's wicked, mate. Because again, like you've been doing it for years, like a long, long time, and I'm 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 happy for you that you've done it this long as well. Because a lot of people would start it and just like sort of break away and not do it right. Because there's so many people that I look back at when we started. Because I'm gonna show our age here, but Instagram wasn't really a thing back then, was it? It was all done on Facebook, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it kind of like some of the people that I saw play back then and be really big don't really do it anymore. And you're still fucking doing it, and hats off to you for doing it because, like I say, a lot of people break away from it. And with regards to when you pitched it, like, was I the first one that played your first Impassion then?
I think you were one of the first ones. One of because those were the first kind of parties. Partially were the first one. So yeah, I think you guys were. I think you were probably on the maybe the second or third party. I think we did at Pasha.
Okay, so how did you get into Pasha then? Like, because that's a
Electronic sessions. So basically,
yeah. Let's go
electronic
through them.
sessions
Yeah.
were, yeah. So Greg Sullivan,
Yep.
who was running obviously electronic sessions, he was a promotion manager at Pasha, and he gave me the first shot basically at one of the big clubs. So yeah,
That's fucking
so
sweet.
yeah, good
That's
man.
yeah, that's wicked, mate. This is why I wanted to get you on because having a brand, not many people like know about the behind the scenes of like promoters and brands that throw parties, right? Everyone knows about DJs or watch YouTube videos, but no one knows the deeps of how you started your thing or any promoter really. So how was it booking like your first like who's your biggest act that you booked first for your own party?
Um, I can't say biggest act as such, because they keep getting bigger.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but I
So
mean, like, who
yeah,
was the
I
first
mean,
one like that you?
first ones.
Yeah.
Um, I think like, we've had like Ocean Word, we've had Mihalis Safras, we've had James Beeler. So there's a few like I couldn't say which one's my favorite, but they're all good.
Yeah, they're
We've
all
got
good,
Shadow
mate.
Child also coming up next Sunday. So yeah.
Wow. And how did you go about like approaching these? Because you got to approach these people with like obviously your pitch, right? So do you throw that pitch that you've got that you go to clubs to these like managers and say, look, I want to book this artist, and do you have to get a venue sorted out first? Like, how do you get the venue, and like, what's that process of like organizing an event?
So yeah, it starts. I think for me, it starts with. I'm sure many people do it differently. Obviously, for us, it starts with a venue, getting a venue. Obviously, now we work with so many venues. It's so many clubs now across the country. So now, but once you set the date, then you can start the whole kind of process of who you're going to book, who works for that. Who we think would work in that city, who you know, it's different. Especially we've learned so much also from the tour that certain DJs might work better in certain cities. But
Mhm.
yeah, it starts with kind of getting the club confirmed, getting a date in the diary, and then you start. You think who you book. Obviously, we work with some agencies, and we see we look at their roster. But if there's anyone specific, say the likes of James Abila and artists like him, then we will obviously approach the agents and kind of say this is what we're planning, and Donna in my team, Donna Love, so she works with agencies to kind of get it over the line.
Yeah.
And yeah, and obviously now it's also different because now obviously what we're doing with the label and events is kind of build in and kind of keep them in sync. So we have artists that also perform for us and also kind of release music. So and we built that relationship now with so many artists, like some Maxine, Kasim,
Mm.
and so they who DJ for us as well and release music with us.
Yeah.
So that's what we're trying to do now to keep the label as well in sync with the events. So yeah, sorry, I digressed, but yeah, so
No, that's
it's
all good,
it's
mate. Yeah.
it's part of like creating that sync, and that's how we're booking as well now.
That's sick. So I didn't realize you had a record label. So how did the record label start, and how did you start it?
Um, let me think.
I'm gonna pick your
So
brains
it
here.
was, huh?
I'm gonna pick your brains here.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's fine, that's fine. It's a Sunday, so I'm still recovering. But yeah, so the record label, it was always going to be part of the plan. When you start a brand, and when you've been part of music for so long, if I have a party, then there was always going to be, I believe, there was always going to be a record label as well, and releasing music. You know, most of this, you could say, is also to facilitate something, give me a platform to express myself, because running events is a way of me expressing, and releasing music as well. He gave me a platform to release music on. So, that obviously that is also a part of the reason.
Hmm.
So so yeah, the record label was always part of it. So in we started the record label I think in 2017, and obviously trying to kind of promote London-based artists as well. And we had a few releases obviously, but because it was so time consuming, and I was doing events and the record label, most of it myself, it stopped sometime, and then we restarted that I think like a few years ago.
Okay, yeah.
And then we obviously started kind of doing it better because we had a team behind it. Not a big team, but a few people
Hmm.
um, kind of behind it. And yeah, it kind of worked well. And we've had like I said, Maxine, we've had Luigi Walker, Kasim, and yeah, a few others.
Well, onto the record label, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's sick. So, how did you build your team? Because I know Donna's been on it for a long time, right? And I met Donna, lovely lady. But how did you build, yeah, like your team from the start to what it is now? For Sunrise Sessions, the brand itself for parties, but also for the record label as well. Do you have the same team for the record label as you do for the parties, or is it two different teams? Or yeah.
I think I think to build a team is, you have to meet the right people. I think I was lucky enough to meet everyone I met along the way, like Donna.
Hmm.
I met Donna, obviously, she was one of the first people to kind of DJ for us at Pasha.
Yeah, man, for sure.
Um,
Yeah.
and Donna and Natalie. So they joined, they were the first residents basically. And yeah, I think I used to do most of the stuff myself, and it came to a point, obviously, that if you want to kind of run something and take it to a next level, you can't be doing all of that yourself. So I think we had Kieran come on board. We had Ewan as well, Karuba, who came on board later on, and then it just made sense. Like as residents, I expect some contributions from doing this and every based on what you're good at, basically. And Donna, we kind of distributed what we wanted to kind of do as residents. So the residents were running the brand at the beginning.
Hmm.
And not the beginning yet, later, when the residents kind of came on board, like Ewan. So Ewan and Kieran were running the record label. Donna was helping based on she is doing the bookings, so she manages the artists, both the residents and booking artists for all of the events. And yeah, um, then we had after the residents, we had more people kind of come on board. People who met at events who wanted to be involved. Polina, he was working with us till 2021. She joined us. She obviously Polina met Polina at one of the events. And she was like, I'd like to be part of the group. I like events, and you have operational skills and all of that. So she joined, and she came on board, and then she was very helpful to get us as well where we are. So yeah, I think it's meeting people who you can click with, and it's not like it was just business, like we were friends,
Yeah.
and friends, strangers who became friends who then became kind of like a family. We've been we've had we meet every Saturday on our team calls every Saturday. And this was, I think we started these team calls around 2018, 2019, where we meet every Saturday, and all through COVID and all of it,
Really.
because we had so many events, we had to reschedule and reschedule. So yeah, it's been yeah, that's how the team kind of has evolved. Then we have, even now we have like Ash, who's joined us, who runs most of the tech and kind of does also event manages uh, many of the events, and Jake, he runs the content stuff, like who helps me with the content stuff, and Yeah, I mean, we're looking at obviously taking on a few people as well now because of the record label as well. So Ewan and Kieran obviously have left, and they are kind of focusing on their own things at the moment. So friends, all good. Just to drop that in.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're looking at kind of getting more people on board and kind of on both sides, and that means obviously trying to get obviously keep in touch with what is out there as well. You need to always, even when we have, even when you had all of our old team, all together, it was important to kind of get new blood in as well, and fresh new blood in the sense like new, younger kind of, artists or younger kind of the young generation, like give opportunities there.
Mm.
And yeah, that's what the team will always kind of grow, and I think it will always evolve over time. So yeah,
That's
to
cool.
answer your question at length.
No, that's good, mate. That's you know, I'm a geek and I'd love to know. That's why I do this anyway. Because I love the music scene. I love it all, and I love to hear how you built a team because uh, and it's absolutely wonderful that you built a team through what you love doing as well, through meeting
Yeah,
people, and that's fucking sick because that's what it's all about, right? You go rave and you meet people,
absolutely,
and then you build the team, and now you've got that wonderful team around you. I mean, it's
absolutely.
fucking wicked,
I mean, many of these conversations also, many of the conversations for Sunrise started probably in green rooms,
Mm,
and there's so many conversations. I would wake up sometimes, on a Sunday just thinking, what the hell did I say? Like, did I say anything, out of the ordinary? Did I make a fool of myself?
yep,
But yeah, there's a lot, but those were the conversations, those are the conversations where I was always ambitious. So I was always talking, I would say I was talking shit. But then again, of everything that, those are the, when you're having those conversations, you're probably, you know, really frank about everything. And basically everything that we've said in those green rooms is now reality. So
yeah.
yeah,
I think it's wicked that you're still there meeting every Saturday for all these years as well. And
yeah.
how
It is and credit to the team, it's in this industry it's hard,
yeah,
but
it
the
is, yeah.
team has always stuck by and believed in what the vision, and that's why I always say like credit to the team because they don't really have to do it,
Yeah.
but whatever we've achieved so far is because of a lot of joint effort from everyone.
Yeah, yeah, it's wicked. And with regards to the record label, like starting that, because obviously that's a different kettle of fish now. I mean, with the parties, you know, you've sort of established that over the years, but with the record label it being a new thing, how was that organising it with like stuff like how to write contracts, how to actually sign people, how to come up with like that business of that? Like, I don't know, so that's why I'm asking you because obviously you've done it. So how does that process work?
It's all, all of it is just, learn as you go, to be honest, very hands-on. That's how we learn
Yeah,
everything. Make mistakes, you learn, and you just, you go on. We learned all of that firsthand. The first crack we had at running the record label, obviously you learn a lot. You had friends kind of give you kind of tips, help you probably with the promo. Um, and then yeah, you just kind of you get better and better. And I think the second time we came around with we relaunched the record label, we were better at it. Um and yeah, and then like events, it's just you keep evolving. You learn more about the PR side of the record label. You learn there's so much more to it. Like now Spotify age, kind of the streaming and everything. All of that. But yeah, it's all a learning curve. We're still we are still in terms of where we are as a record label, still in our infancy, to be honest. Like
yeah,
it's not. I don't think we're anywhere close to where we want to be. We want to set up something for all of this is for the long term,
yeah,
and that's
exactly.
why. And that's why, yeah,
That's
it's yeah.
sorry. I think
No, no, no. So
the
that's
yeah,
why we keep doing this. Obviously, with the bigger picture in mind.
yeah. I think it's wicked, mate, because again, you have to. That's how you've organically grow as well, as by making mistakes, right, and then building it by making the mistakes. You know that you've built it organically from like.
Yeah.
Do you know
I
what I mean?
mean, that's exactly it. Mistakes are part of the journey, to be honest. And we've made, I know obviously because I'm leading the team, so I've made a few.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And but you have to make those mistakes, and it's better. You can't just go straight up there and kind of make those mistakes. You have to make your mistakes smaller and learn from smaller, because once you get to our level of, you know, our level, once you get to this level now as well, when we make mistakes, it costs us more. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's yeah, you have to take everything on board, and it's a constant learning curve.
That's good, man. It's good that your team stuck by you as well through all them mistakes as well, because it shows you've got genuine people with you and a genuine team as
Yeah,
well, right?
100%, 100%.
How, with I'm gonna go into the parties then. So when you get like book venues, obviously clubs like Passion, the big clubs, they provide like the equipment. Is there other venues where you've had to like bring your own equipment, speakers, and all that sort of stuff as well? Like we've hired a venue, or is it all sort of been like with the big clubs?
Most big clubs have their own have the basics, at
Yeah,
least. You have the decks and mixers and everything. Obviously, many of the big artists obviously want more. They want the RMX. They want RMXs. They want something. Specific mixers. And yeah, so anything outside of what clubs have, we have to kind of, they usually we ask the clubs and they can hire it out, because in different cities you might not know suppliers.
yep.
So many clubs, that's how it works really. If they don't have it, then they'll hire it out and then send us an invoice.
Is it? I love to ask these questions. Is there what's like the worst thing that's happened on a night, like whether it be technical stuff or just anything like that, where you've gone, oh man, shit, because it's all happened to us, right? When we've like, I've gone to like when I DJ at the Source Bar, put my USB in, and the network cable didn't work between the two decks. I only had one USB, and I was fucked. I was like, I kind of have to walk away from this set, and the guy got a 3 hour set. So like, what kind of things
There's
have you come up
there's
against?
loads that can go wrong, I think, especially with the Magic Garden Rave, because there's so much going on at the same time. There's loads that can go wrong. But I used to prepare myself, like even with the Pasha gigs, you come in there thinking, right, there is going to be a hiccup, so you got to be prepared. Like, I used to always kind of, and that's why people is like, how you come and cool? Because I used to tell myself maybe something's going to happen, and then when it happened, I was like, this is it. Right. Yeah. But yeah, I think, I don't know, with the Magic Garden Rave, there's so many things sometimes we've had, you know, like even now these days, obviously you have the bongos, bingo. So yeah, this is one thing obviously that we deal with sometimes. You have bongos, bingo, something that goes on. And with Steelyard, and we have the same, we will have this again next Sunday. It's not going wrong. It's what you have to deal with, basically.
Yeah,
So the show usually, our usual Steelyard shows, we start at 10. And now, obviously, with Bongos Bingo, we start the shows at 11, because Steelyard runs Bongos Bingo between 6 to 10, and then there's a changeover. But obviously, with the Magic Garden Rave, you have, so much production that we put, obviously, and build you know, the whole forest, or, the whole Magic Garden
yeah,
in a club.
yeah,
So we do, obviously, we have the designers come and kind of, the decorators come and kind of decorate the whole club in the morning. And then there is this 45-minute window where, because we can't touch the stage, obviously, because they run the event. And that 45-minute window is like a military operation, and everything has to go spot on. So that is what could go kind of wrong. So we start building the stage in the second room, and then in that 45 minutes, they have to clear all the tables, because the bongos, bingos, they have the tables and everything. So you have the venue staff trying to clear out all of those tables. You've got the production staff trying to, put together all these, bring all the decorations for the stage out. And yeah, it's basically 15, 20 minutes of pure kind of, organized chaos. But yeah, it's not what goes wrong, but it is one of those things that, technically something could go wrong. We've had things go wrong as well, but I think confetti cannon sometimes, sometimes won't work, or something's missing, or suddenly we've had sometimes have the CO2 gas. One time, I think in Leeds, I think it was Mint Warehouse where it just went off and it was just like it just started leaking, and then we had to kind of, you can't put your hand on it because it's freezing
Freezing,
cold, and
yeah,
you burn your hand.
yeah.
And I remember Kieran just threw his jacket on top of it and was like, just shut it off. But yeah, loads can go wrong, and we've had so many things. But I think maybe talking about that switch over, that is one of the most interesting things I would say.
The structured stress of it all.
It is a hard industry. I mean, even
Yeah,
for us, like, me, like doing this as well, it's like, um, it's not money, obviously. That's why I say we do it because we like doing it. Because for me, as far whatever money we make on this goes kind of reinvested,
yeah,
and
exactly. Yeah,
also to be like for a rainy day.
and that's the thing, right? I'm not kissing your ass here or nothing, but that's why I got mad respect, and I wanted you to come on was because you were the first person to give me a go in London. Because every other promoter wanted me to sell over 50 tickets to make them
Mm,
money, or they wouldn't let me play. And then we
mm,
got in contact, and just was like, "Do you want to play?" And I was like, "Yeah, man, thank you very much." And it was a good vibe, and I loved it. I didn't sell
mm.
many tickets, but it was like you say, it wasn't about the money, and I loved it. And
Yeah. The
that,
thing is, back then as well, it was about selling tickets, and
mm,
even for us, what I used to do even back then was I used to buy some of these tickets myself.
same, yeah. I used to spend like fucking over 100 quid or 150 quid of these
Yeah.
tickets.
Obviously, you mentioned obviously about the ticket sales and selling tickets, and that's what even when I started obviously DJing over here, it was about ticket sales, especially the ministry and all of that,
Yeah.
and even when we used to do passion nights, obviously when you joined us, it was about ticket sales. And with DJs wanted to kind of play and stuff like that. But for us, the reason, like yourself, like many DJs wanted to play for us, obviously, because we never imposed that as much, because like I said, I used to I used to buy many of these tickets myself, and always set aside on event day, like let's put that money aside just in case tickets don't come through.
Hmm.
We used to pay for those, and even like dealing with some of the staff at Passion, he's like, you're always the calmest promoter, like you always you never have any arguments, like with us about money and stuff like that. And it was always the bigger picture in mind, because at that time, you had to kind of put your name out there.
Hmm.
And, even today, that's still the case. That's how we kind of, put that money back in the kitty, because running a tour doesn't come cheap and stuff like that. So it's never been about the money. And, it's always, if you want to grow, especially being who we are, we don't consider ourselves, nowhere close to the big guys. Obviously, for us, it's the reason we continue on this journey is because we keep reinvesting in the brand,
Yeah.
and that's really what it is. Because the bigger picture is we want to be up there, and we don't stop. We have to keep it consistent, and that's how it is basically.
And that's the thing, right? Like you've done that from an early start, and built it up, to what it is now. You have to be consistent, and there is a factor that you have to have a business and build a brand and be about the music, and it has to be a fine balance, which I think you've done very well. But some people think just about the money, and some people just do this, right? And that's how you've continued, like you say, you've continued to grow. How did you like spread your wings out to around the country then? Because if you've got a crowd in London, you obviously have to build a crowd up around the rest of the UK. So how did you grow the brand and the community further out of London? if most of your current following is in London? Do you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's marketing to be honest. You know, we had a formula that we used over here in London and worked well. With marketing and adverts and everything that we did, we have so much content and stuff. So it's basically that we took that formula we had here and we said, if it's working so well over here, why don't we test it out in a few other cities? And we did, and it kind of, it worked. Um, Obviously, London's London, and the whole thing about the tour is still kind of a massive learning curve. Even now, we're still learning things about different cities because different cities behave. The crowd is different in each city, and whereas whether it's music genres or whether it's purchase behavior, the consumer purchase behaviors in different kind of places, it's all different. So yeah, it's still a learning curve, but that's how we did. We thought of kind of taking what we have and doing what we do over here to other cities, and that's yeah, that was the plan, and it's still the plan now.
Okay, and how does the marketing thing work then? Like, do you have to do you and the team sit down and like plan it out of how you're going to market it to that certain city, or like what is the process of that? Because we don't see a lot of people don't know this part of the industry, right? They
Hmm.
they see all the glitz and glamour of just of what social media tells you, not the the work behind it. So
So the marketing side is where I kind of do. I'm very very particular about what about most things in running events. I'm a bit of a dick, maybe if I can say that, because everything has to be because when you're and I have to be that way. It's because I have to be because you are competing against some of the biggest. Against some of the biggest names, the biggest brands out there, and we're the small guys. So everything in marketing or whether it's even the stage design production, everything has to be really on point and really kind of in sync with the theme that we're going, like whether it's Magic and Rave, whether it's the Brixton parties. In terms of artwork, whether it's the artwork, whether it's the videographer, photographers, I have conversations with everyone about how and what we want, and it's very specific to kind of get because social media is evolving, and people's behavior is evolving at the same time, and we have to kind of if you're going to target that audience, you have to have everything pop, and that's in terms of like using social media to kind of to kind of put it out there in terms of putting it in the diary in terms of content scheduling and all of that. It's still, I think this is all work in progress.
hmm
We've had people come on board and kind of help us with it. We're still now as well, we're looking at other kind of people to come on board to kind of manage it. But what we're doing is trying to bring in some kind of standardization in terms of what we can do with anything. In my day job, I do a lot of automation and stuff, so I'm bringing that kind of experience in as well
yeah,
to kind of make a standard kind of sync. So we have like there's a lot of things that we've done that we never did in the past. Like we've learned so much over the years, and the way we kind of structure all of our assets, all of everything we ask, like the promo videos, the artwork assets in different kind of formats, the social media assets that you'll see, like the reels and everything that go out. So we've got a lot of these things, and we're still streamlining it even more to kind of so we can kind of put it in the scheduler and kind of put it out there at certain times, because it's these days, obviously, like you said, Pasha, back in those days you didn't have all of this. Now it's obviously so much more that you have to do, and obviously target certain times, ads run at certain the best ways, best practices of using adverts, and kind of keep in touch with all of that. So there's a lot that we've done, and there's still so much more we are planning on doing. Obviously, limitation of obviously sometimes is resources because we are still a very small team.
hmm
But that's also what we're looking at, kind of bringing people on board on that. I'm looking personally for someone to also come and kind of handle some of the marketing side of what I kind of, do, because the marketing side is my side of things, which is what I do. So
Yep.
we're looking at obviously getting more people on board. But yeah, broadly speaking, we've done it's probably one of the biggest part of plays the biggest part in kind of getting these shows, getting these tickets sold and stuff like that.
Yes, I'm glad you said that because obviously when we were started doing all this, it was just like Facebook pages and groups, right? And now it's like with like artists now, you have to be DJ, producer, marketer, social media expert, promoter. You have to be all of it now, right? It's so
Yeah,
much more to it, and
yeah,
it's
so
insane.
much more.
It's insane how much like yeah, you just have to put in now. But I'm glad you explained that, the marketing side of it, because you do have to schedule posts now, and you do have to. So, what advice would you give to like producers, DJs, other brands on how to grow their brands? You know, in this day and age now.
Start small. Start small, like I said, make your mistakes while they're smaller. Don't aim too high too soon, but keep that, do it for the bigger picture in mind and do it for you, basically, not to kind of, not for anyone else. Do it for you, express yourself and have patience
Yeah.
because I tell you, it takes a lot of patience to get there. But you got to keep. Even now, there's a lot obviously that goes on even now behind the scenes. That we have to kind of deal with. But you have to have that eyes on the prize, and you have to have that patience and the commitment to it. Because, like you said, a lot of people can give up easier. Some people can give up easier than others. You just have to, I always say, like, um, it's a stressful job being a promoter and running all of that. But you've got to dig in sometimes harder than other times. If you can't take the heat, basically stay out of the kitchen. Otherwise, it is a tough job.
Yeah, that's an old school saying that.
Yeah.
No, that's wicked, mate. And is there anything else coming up for Sunrise that you want to plug away? Is there what are the future plans for Sunrise Sessions? The label, the brand itself, even yourself as a DJ producer. What things have you got coming up with all of that?
Um, we've got a whole summer, action-packed summer. We've got obviously we have the Brixton parties which we do. We've got Manchester coming up, and we've also got um, we've not even launched this, but I'll say it. We're doing London East as well, so we're going to take the Magic Garden Rave concept and do a Magic Garden Rave open air for the first time. So that's
Sweet.
going to be uh, like a like an open air kind of festival kind of feel for
Yeah.
that one. That's going to be a big one, and yeah, there's a few other plans in the pipeline as well. For the label as well, there's lots coming. I can't say anything just yet, but we've got a good few artists that are coming on board as well. But yeah, there's a lot going on. That's why you probably see dark circles here.
Yeah. Oh man, I know. I mean, I've got a kid. I know what it's like losing sleep. Trust me. Fuck me.
Yeah,
Oh,
there's a lot going on. I think there's also a plan for an India tour as well
okay.
later in the year, but that's all still unconfirmed. But there's a lot of work going on in the background.
You're doing an Indian tour as well, yeah?
Yeah, I mean,
Fucking
I have
sweet, mate.
a lot of obviously friends from back home and a lot of professional kind of um, friends.
Yeah,
So there are plans which are not yet kind of concrete just yet, but we're still kind of looking at a few venues and a small tour, but it's a beginning basically.
that's fucking wicked. I'm glad you're expanding out now. Like, I'm
We're
glad.
trying, man. We're
Yeah,
trying.
come out to Vancouver as well.
Never say never.
No, no,
Never say never.
I'm glad it's going well, mate. I really am. Um, you know, I think it's fucking wicked what you've done. You know, in fact, you've
Thank
given
you.
me you gave me in the early days of your career an opportunity. So you know, and I thank you for that. And now I'm starting this, so I wanted to hear more about it, and it's good for other people to hear what it's like being running a brand promoter, record label, all of that, you know. So
Yeah, it's been an experience. Obviously, it's given me a platform. It's given many artists, like even yourself, loads of people who've come on board, like played for us for the first time. Maxine, Matt Villa, loads of people who've come on board and gone and done really great things. So it's given, it's a good journey. It's a mix of things that happen, good things that have happened for us, and also good things that have happened for a lot of artists. So it's a pleasure.
yeah, what about your own productions? And tell me a little bit more about your own productions.
So yeah, I mean, it's about finding time, like, so obviously I've released on Summerized. I've got stuff that I released on 303 Lovers, but I've got like music now in my catalog, but it's about finding time to kind of also send it out to labels and stuff. And for
Yeah.
me, it is day job summarized, and then the finding time to send it out to other labels sometimes is what I struggle with, and that's the only problem. Because like the likes of 303 Lovers and them, we are always in touch, and there is stuff that probably will be coming out soon. But there's with other labels as well. I'm in touch with a lot of other labels, but sometimes I do find that I struggle with time, and that's the only thing. But I do
Yeah.
play a lot of my stuff out, even now, and it has been also some of the stuff also been played out with the likes of Will Clark and that, and he's like some of the stuff I sent for his label.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's all work in progress, and
Yeah.
the plan for this year is to kind of get as much out there as I can, but balancing that sometimes with events can be hard.
Yeah, it's hard to struggle at the time, right? Because, you know, like for me, doing this and then doing the production side of it, I put the production on the back foot for a long time, but I'm going to be putting it up there with this now. But how do you use Ableton, Reason, Logic? What do you use, and how did you learn how to do production?
So I have learned Logic, but I use an engineer who I work with almost every month.
Mm-hmm.
So we come up. Obviously, I start some of the projects myself at home, and then we'll go and finish them off in the studio. And yeah, it's about finding that time, to be honest, because like in theory, obviously we say we'll meet like once a month and stuff, but sometimes because of events and because of my schedule, sometimes that even that doesn't happen. But yeah, once a month or once in 2 months, I'm in the studio, and we spend like a day a month basically just kind of either working on working on a track or multiple tracks. But yeah, it's I'm still building that catalog right now. Obviously, I've got a few tracks under my belt now, so it's a process of sending it out now.
Perfect, mate. That's I'm glad that's going well as well. Really glad. That's good. I'm going to finish it up there because it's almost probably been it's been just over an hour. So thanks for coming on and telling us about everything about
It's a pleasure.
Sunrise.
Thanks. Yeah, sorry, go on.
I was gonna say,
You can.
yeah, about Sunrise and your own your own stuff and the record label and everything like that. Thanks for sharing that story.
No, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for having us, man.
Nice, all good.
It's been a good chat.
Yeah, it's been good, mate. Thank you very much.
You made me think about some of these things on a Sunday. That's not easy, but
Yeah.
yeah.
A lot of people say I'm getting better with my questions, so that's good.
Now the questions are